So under the influence, right? Under the influence is the conversation today. And I want you, it's just coming to me, is to consider, if you want, right? Your choice. That's what it is. That's what freedom is that this ugly code of fear is influencing how people perceive things. I know for me, when I was completely terrified in my life, my sole purpose was to keep myself safe, right? It was to keep myself thinking what's safe. And in a sense, safe wasn't necessarily the safest place because I was too afraid to do anything. So it was like protection, making sure the locks were on and the code was on and I had something to defend myself. That kind of, I'm bracing for the impact. It's a different situation, bracing for the impact, being protected, standing in, barricading yourself. Instead of, I started to open up and deal with the breakdown and deal with the fear and the terror. The terror went to fear, the fear went to back and forth to trust to fear. And then the influence disappears. And it's like you break a little, there's like a little ray of sunshine that gets in, and it gives you a new thought, or gave me a new thought. For me, that really big new thought was back like in 1987. And it was this idea that the mind had an impact on the body in terms of health. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing at the time. Like, you know what? Because I was very sick. I was popping medicated drugs every day, right? My body, I'd grown up with being sick. So this concept of being unhappy or body breaking down, that I could have had something to do with it, and my thoughts, that meant that I was responsible. And friggin', that was the last thing. I'm going to be responsible for what went on in my life because I was the victim. If any of this is resonating with you, this is just the to have the compassion for yourself. Blaming yourself for your situation is no good, right? It's about recognizing that right now, today, each of us are in a different position than we were yesterday or even an hour ago. And so as a new thought comes in, it's in the presence of the moment. Are you able to catch that new thought, or are you so inundated with this influence that you only filter it through there? It's like wearing glasses, right? You see a little bit more clearly or a little bit differently. Or if you're wearing shades, you're seeing it differently. And when you take these off and you start to look at the world differently, it's different. Yet if this influence is all there, it affects you. And I talk now about a living, breathing woman or man because I have seen in my own personal experience that a body, what's considered to be a human body, can have very different influences moving through that. And sometimes I feel like I am totally, completely talking to like a zombie or a drone. I've had that experience in the sense that this body, seems to be looking like a real human being, but it seems that they're very much under the influence. And I can comprehend that because I know people would say that about me. They would see that my eyes would shift. It would be like at a certain point I would get triggered and it would be like my eyes would glaze over because that was taking me out of my comfort zone. That was like, retreating, hiding, however you want to describe it. It was like I couldn't be present to that conversation. And if you've had stuff that's happened in your life and you've learned to cope when you were younger in a way to keep yourself safe, in a way to make yourself through this process of life, it might have become a habit now. And in that habit, now you're still letting that influence you when you're starting to have some turning through your body that says, I don't know if this quite makes sense, but it's like, no, this influence has always been there. And to think differently, or to allow a new thought to come to you, it's easier to dismiss it. Right? This churning inside each one of us, that's the breakdown. When you're at peace, when you can completely trust that your health, your joy, your love of life, your wealth comes, it's just there. It's just there. It's the experience that it just is, and you can receive it, and you can go with the flow, and you can trust the process. You're awed and amazed at how life works. It's like it's like the kid in the candy store. Wow, there's so much stuff there. If this inner churning is going on within you, that's that opportunity to look within, to recognize what is it that you're still holding on to? What is it you're so afraid of? Because the world is breaking down. The systems and structures that have been in existence that I've grown up with and that I was taught that were real, that it's amazing as I've started to look at different things and the verbiage and the words and how it's constructed, that this house of what world that I lived in has been basically built on a faulty foundation. It's kind of like, if I have to go back and say, it's like, go back to first scripture, just using that as a thing that said the Satan, the devil, whatever they said to Eve, you eat this and you can have all the powers or see like God or be like God. So we created this world to emulate it, but it was a facade. Each one of us has a direct connection. Each one of us has that inner guidance and inner knowing. And that connection is coming through you at any given moment in time. It's your inner GPS. Technology is helping us, in a sense, show us how amazing that each one can do things differently. But it's mind-blowing when you looked at how you've been raised that this is all going away. In the history I look back on, never has everybody been treated equally, or has everybody been taken care of, or has everybody been fed. There was always a discrepancy between the haves and the have-nots, or the money, the rich or the poor, or we're the Western world and they're the third world. You're white, you're black, you're a native, and we're a Christian, and you're a Muslim. Like there has been divide. When I first did the Global Party in 2017, I heard people say from different parts of the world that they grew up in, that Nomanono in South Africa, she was in a beautiful, lovely world until the white people came along and took her mother away, and apartheid came along. And then her world shifted. And then she had to personally deal with the anger she had towards the white people in order to find her joy. I heard from Janet, who grew up in Ireland, who was told to be, those people are Protestant, you're Catholic, they're no good, right? All these things our parents gave to us because that's what they were given. They were handed down. And now in this world, we're seeing what worked even 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000, doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work anymore. We're co-creating a new world. We're co-creating a new way of being. Love, peace, harmony, and love. There is answers in every single person. There are gifts and blessings that are coming to every single person. And when we can get out from under that influence and find out what the truth is in here, that's freedom. Someone said the other day, oh, well, he would be a great leader, or she would be a great leader in our group. And I said, the only leader I have is the God-given inner guidance that comes through me. It's taken me a long time to get there. But that's it. When it says jump, I jump. When it says go, I go. When it says do a live stream, this is what you're going to talk about, I do it. Because that's all I know, and I trust the ripple effect of it. I trust if it's just speaking this out in front of the computer, that somehow that has a vibrational quality. The lighthouse. And that's freedom. when I can just do what I'm doing and let go and be completely unattached to the outcome, that I have such faith and trust and belief that every single person on this planet at this given moment in time is doing what they need to do at this moment in time, and they will get a new thought, a new answer when it's time to do something different. They will have this experience of breaking down mind to heart. They will have it, or they won't. And it's okay, whatever they're doing. It's a fabulous time. Caterpillar, it's been in the chrysalis a long time. She's really breaking down now. And some people are still looking for someone else to rescue them, or something outside themselves to rescue them. And the rescuing is in here, because you're the only one that can feel fear. I was the only one. People could tell me, it's like if you're a parent and the kid says there's a boogeyman under the bed, and you go, no, there's not. Look, there's no boogeyman. And now so much of the world is so afraid to have a conversation with somebody because you might have something. You stand over there. You're threatening me. It's all up here. And then you can give me the evidence and you can say, well, no, this is what the doctors and this is what the, no. Because that same evidence is out there, but there's a whole other population that sees that evidence as irrelevant. The only common ingredient in your life is you. And that's a tough one. I remember 2 marriages I had, and I had to realize 2 completely different men, but I was the only common ingredient. I was still having the experience I was having. It was me. I'd like to say it was them, but it was me. It's always me. Me. I'm the only common thing in my life. If I'm unhappy, if I'm fighting, if I'm judging, if I'm blaming, if I'm feeling a victim, I'm the one. Healing from the inside out, inside job. When you clean here, when you move from fear and break down in this chrysalis and you become a butterfly, you're free. And when you're free, you're free. It's irrelevant what's going on with other people in their world. You trust, and it's amazing how the world works for you. It will be your best whole new world. That's why I call it best whole new world, your heart's desires. But to do that, you've got to let go of this influence. Well, you don't have to, but I mean, that's where when you get out from under the influence, and that's anybody's influence. It could be a spouse, it could be a parent, it could be the news, it could be someone's social media account that you've been listening to. When you get out from their influence. That's why when everybody that I work with, I always say, I'm not telling you, like I can't tell you what to do. I can only hold the space and the energy and reflect back to you your words, your feelings, so you can then, in that space, see and experience for yourself and transform it. This is all about each of us as an individual. No one knows the right answer for someone else, except God, your God-given connection, your higher self. That's the journey. However you journey along and find it, that's the journey. You're experiencing the experiencing. You're noticing what you're noticing. And yeah, we're holding people saying, hey, we're going to move to this love and connecting. So harming people, deliberately harming people, invading their bodily autonomy is harm. Asking people coercively, intimidating them to do something that doesn't make sense. I don't know how many people I ask about wearing a mask, and they're like, I don't like it, but I'm doing it for other people, right? I don't get operated on for somebody else to get healed. And they be, oh no, that's not how it works. This is a virus, right? No. Health and a vibe of health transmits at a much higher level in a vibration. Fear is like this ugly code of fear, and it vibrates at a very low thing. So when I'm talking to someone, when I'm speaking to someone, I'm coming from this space of positivity, and I love just sharing simple little things, opening them up for them to experience. Yeah, my vibe is like I'm positive. I am feeling it from the inside out. They can feel my joy versus the hopelessness and despair that they have, that their whole world is crumbling apart, and they're supposed to be fearful of somebody that they would love to connect with because they've been trained for over a year now. Right? We're each doing our part. Who knows how it's all going to work out? Trust yourself, trust your inner guidance, because I can only speak from my experience that where I used to be, from terror to fear to a little bit of fear to making myself wrong to judging and all that stuff, to actually being okay with me and being free to love and appreciate everybody for where they are. It's an amazing space. It's an amazing space, and I meet amazing people all the time. I wish for you your heart's desires. Lots of love.